Hi, my name is Meryl Berman, and I will be doing my author discussion on Ann Petry. Ann Petry was born in Old Saybrook, Connecticut, which was a mostly white community. She grew up into a middle-class family where her dad was a pharmacist and her mom was an entrepreneur. Ann began to write when she was in high school. Then when she was older, she went to Harlem to live with her husband George. When she was living in Harlem, she had a journalist job for a very long time. She also released her first novel in which Harlem inspired her to write, which was called The Street. Petry was able to write many different stories in her lifetime, such as short stories, novels, and even children's books. Her first story ever published was a short story called Mary of the Cabin Club. This was shown in the Afro-American written under a male's fake name, which was Arnold Petry. Her first novel written was named The Street, which helped her become the first ever African-American woman to sell more than 1 million copies of her book. She also wrote some children's books, one of which was written in 1949 called The Drugstore Cat. She wrote children's books to give children some education on African American women. Another novel she wrote that was famous, but not as famous as The Street, was called The Narrows. This novel was about an interracial couple. All of her stories were very inspiring and intriguing for audiences to read and gain important knowledge from them. In this story, there are a few different characters that play a pretty big role in The Street. Ludi is the main character and protagonist. Bub is Ludi's son, who is very young. Jones is Ludi's super of her building, who has an inappropriate odd obsession with Ludi. Mrs. Hedges is a resident who lives in the same building as Ludi lives in. Junto is a bar owner who is also attracted to Ludi. Boot is a guy who works at Junto's bar by performing music. A quick summary of this story is Ludi moves to Harlem with her 8-year-old son Bub. The building she moves to has a super named Jones who has a very inappropriate crush on Ludi and doesn't respect her privacy or wishes. Ludi goes to a bar where a guy named Junto is the owner. Junto hired Boots, who is a musician who plays at his bar, and Boots offered Ludi a place in their band to sing. Both Junto and Boots had a crush on Ludi as well as Jones. While Ludi is gone for most of the day, Joan has Bubs do a very questionable action. One of them got Bubs sent to court, and now he is in a shelter. This makes Ludi go crazy and realizes she doesn't have enough money to save him, so she flees to Chicago. Ludi moves to Harlem with her son Bub. When she first moves there, she is naive about the ways of American culture. When she is beginning to be in Harlem, she has doubts in herself. Ludi figures out later in the story that she is being used. This makes her even more emotional than she was before. Later on in the novel, she begins to feel hatred towards the white community. This makes Ludi realize that she is turning into all those other people who come to these run-down cities. These are all the references that I have used in this PowerPoint. I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot from this presentation. I definitely learned a lot from her. She was very inspirational and created many wonderful writing pieces that taught the audience many lessons. Thank you for watching.